After working in NASA's Deep Space Monitoring Division for 15 years, Sarachan believed she had seen everything, but she was mistaken as she gazed at the satellite picture on her computer, her coffee growing cold next to her keyboard. The head scientist hurried over with his usual disheveled white hair, but after one glance at the screen, he froze. "Dr. Roberts, you need to see this," she said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. The anomaly she saw shouldn't exist, a distortion in space that is barely visible against the backdrop of stars but moves in a perfect order pattern around Earth. "The question, sir, is how long it has been there." Sarah displayed other pictures. "Once I understood what to search for, I was able to locate these months-old images amongst several earlier scans." As he leaned closer to the screen and adjusted his glasses, Dr. Roberts showed me how Sarah's fingers moved over the keyboard, displaying scan after scan of the same images from 2 years ago and 6 months ago showed distortion, and amazingly, something has been keeping an eye on us even in some deteriorated photos from the space program in the 1960s. "For decades," Dr. Roberts muttered, and in a matter of hours, the military men crowded the observation room. At the heart of the confusion was General Marcus Thompson, a grim-faced man with graying temples who was shouting commands into his phone. "This is Priority Alpha, and I want all of our satellites, even the secret ones, aimed at these coordinates." As the news leaked via safe routes throughout the world, military leaders convened in emergency meetings in Beijing. Veteran generals with Cold War memories were brought out of retirement in Moscow, and MI6 analysts extracted dusty archives include decades' worth of UFO reports. As data from observatories around the world came in, Sarah worked non-stop, analyzing it until the pattern became apparent. The object wasn't just being watched, it was being learned to be a probe. 18 hours after her first discovery, she told the crowded room that it was an automated observatory that had been recording all of our technological advancements and wars. General Thompson's face clouded during our quiet times. "Could it see us now?" Sarah chuckled uneasily. "Sir, it had been observing us since before our landing on the moon, therefore the question was why it had revealed itself." The answer had now arrived. 3 days later, as if it wanted to be discovered, the probe's cloaking technology started to malfunction too precisely and methodically to be an accident. Then, the message arrived, a straightforward broadcast on frequencies that people had only recently learned to use. The 3 words made every military leader's blood run cold. "Assessment period complete" in the Pentagon's war room. When a junior analyst entered the room with a tablet in hand, General Thompson peered at the translation evaluation to see how his query was answered. "Sir, we're detecting similar probes around Mars." The moons of Jupiter and Venus all appeared at once, sending forth the same message. The ramifications struck everyone simultaneously. Earth was only one of many planets being observed and tested. It wasn't particularly unique. Sarah, who was now employed at the Pentagon, displayed a star chart. If these probes have existed since the 1960s at the latest and we're only now discovering them, then someone has been conducting a lengthy experiment. Next General Thompson's completion, we saw the world shift when government archives were unsealed the next week, revealing many years of secret meetings. Similar cloaked objects in Earth's orbit were observed by radar sites across the globe. Each discovery revealed one indisputable fact. In her temporary position at the Pentagon, humanity had never been alone. After working through the night to compile data from all across the globe, Sarah saw a pattern in the probes. As she gazed at her discoveries, a shiver went down her spine since they had seen every significant human battle, scientific advancement, every stride toward the stars. The probes had been assessing humanity's potential as a species and a civilization, not merely watching, and now the exam was finished. General Thompson's remarks at the emergency meeting encapsulated everyone's thoughts. "Ladies and gentlemen, an advanced extraterrestrial society has been watching us for at least 60 years. They have seen our wars, our development, and our tenacity, and they have determined that they have seen enough. The issue now is, did we pass their test?" While everyone waited for the next communication from the stars, commanders at military installations all across the world started to unlock sealed instructions that were prepared for this precise situation decades ago. Whether they realized it or not, humanity had been ready. Representatives from all of the major nations were seated around a huge round table, their features illuminated by the brightness of computer displays above them. The locations of the alien probes, which were now visible, were shown holographically. In his uniform, General Thompson stood at the podium. The room became quiet as he touched a button, revealing archival film that had been classified at the highest levels for more than 50 years, even though Chris had gone 3 days without sleep. A 1962 UFO encounter that was captured in crystal clear quality and wasn't a blurry civilian photo. He clarified that the footage was captured by a secret military satellite and that we have all known about them for decades. General Li, the Chinese military representative, stood up next and displayed similar footage. He nodded to his assistant, who then added new videos from 1965 to the display. Between 1982 and 1999, other countries started disclosing their classified data one after the other. Russia disclosed Arctic underwater encounters data from RAF encounters over Scotland was displayed by Britain. Over the Himalayas, India displayed satellite photos of things traveling at unfathomable speeds. Every major nation had parts of the jigsaw, and now we know why we never shared them, Sarah Chin, who was observing from her position at the back of the room, murmured to Dr. Roberts, making her head spin. When the Japanese delegate cleared his throat, Dr. Roberts said, "We were all being tested to see how well we could keep secrets and prepare in silence." The Japanese official added, "The Fukushima incident wasn't just a natural disaster. Our sensors detected energy signatures minutes before the earthquake." General Thompson sadly nodded. Hurricane Katrina, the 2004 tsunami, and several other natural calamities served as tests of our crisis management skills. Sarah's fingertips skimmed across her iPad. Matching dates examined the pattern she identified, which sent her analysis to the main screen. They were researching our warfare capabilities since UFO activity increased after every major fight in the previous 50 years. General Lai rose once again. A portion of the Cold War was planned. The crowd exploded in irate yells and accusations as General Thompson concluded, saying they wanted to test how near we could go to annihilation without really killing ourselves. The Secretary General continuously hammered his gavel till the order came back. He said unequivocally that what matters now is what we do next, since it is obvious that we are up against something far bigger than any one nation could handle. Sarah raised her hand. "Sir, I've examined the probe's recent behavior, and they're arranging themselves in a traditional military formation rather than merely disclosing who they are." Dr. Roberts displayed fresh satellite data, and she's correct. In addition, the energy levels from these probes seem to be rising, as if they're charging. After he straightened his shoulders, General Thompson said, "We do what we've been preparing for all along. Each major military power has secret protocols for this scenario, so we've been working on projects in secret but with the same goal." He then pressed another button to reveal the new set of classified files for Project Defender, where each nation developed a piece of the puzzle on its own and impressed the screens full of technical specifications together. Energy shields for sophisticated weapon systems, networks of quantum communications. The aliens tested more than just our fighting prowess. Each nation had created distinct components of humanity's security system. "Understanding," stated General Li Wei as the meeting came to an end. Sarah went up to General Thompson, "Sir," and said, "They tested our ability to keep secrets from each other to develop technology independently. Now," General Thompson added, "they get to see if we can work together." The Secretary General stood his ground resolutely and called for an immediate vote to create a unified Earth Defense Force that would combine all of our secret projects and capabilities. The vote was unanimous. The message was received in orbit, and the alien probes continued their silent watch as humanity began to show its true strength. General Thompson's face hardened well as the message played through the room speaker's face too. They wanted to see if we could unite against a common threat. He looked around the room at the representatives of Earth's nations standing together. The test was not over. It was about to enter a new phase, and this time, deep under the Rocky Mountains, Earth was prepared to reveal its entire hand. Sarachin gazed in awe at the enormous subterranean building, which the elevator had descended for 5 whole minutes on each floor, unveiling more mysteries than the previous welcome to Project Defender's main hub. According to General Thompson, Dr. Roberts whistled gently as he led the small group of foreign representatives through heavy blast doors into one of 20 identical facilities worldwide. The room they entered was huge and looked to run for miles. The area was packed with sophisticated airplanes in different stages of development, but these weren't your typical aircraft. Their designs were reverse-engineered and unlike anything that the general public had ever seen. As he ran his palm down a sleek hull from an extraterrestrial vessel that crashed, General Liwei stated, "We were able to finally exchange the bits that each nation had collected throughout the decades." As it identified several energy signatures, Sarah's tablet beeped non-stop. "These power ratings are incredible antimatter engines," Dr. Yuki Tanaka stated in a fresh voice. The chief scientist from Japan came forward, and we were able to break the technology in 1995. Since then, we have been refining it. The tour went through several areas, with each revelation being more startling than the previous. Russia had created energy shields. Sarah questioned, "How did you hide all of this?" as she watched robots build what seemed to be a space fighter, the power needs alone. China had perfected gravity manipulation, while India had developed quantum communication systems that operated immediately across any distance. General Thompson grinned as he recalled the experimental power plants where environmental organizations had objected. It was the ideal cover for quantum reactors. They went into another room, this time with rows of advanced computers, and the holographic screens displayed intricate computations that seemed to be floating in midair, true artificial intelligence. Dr. Tanaka verified that you accomplished it 10 years ago, but we kept it under wraps since it just helps us create and construct. We didn't learn anything else from our science fiction. Suddenly, a loud alarm went out throughout the building. Sarah's iPad was overflowing with alerts. Then she yelled, "The probes are moving," and everyone hurried to the central command center. The main screen displayed the alien probes breaking their orbit and creating new patterns, but they weren't attacking General Liu. He paused to study the formation, saying, "This is another test." General Thompson's face was frozen, and then it was time to reveal to them what we had been hiding. He pressed his palm against the biometric scanner, starting Protocol Omega, which revealed launching paths, ocean platforms, and doors hidden in mountain ranges. As she watched the cams, Sarah muttered, "How many ships are enough for us?" Grimly, General Thompson said, "We've been building them since Roswell, each country focusing on different designs and technologies apart, and together we were vulnerable." Dr. Roberts concluded, "We're ready for war, not war. We demonstrate our might to them so we never need to use it," which is General Liwei corrected deterrence. As the first ships started launching, the building trembled, and identical sights were shown on televisions all across the world. Stylish combatants rose from Saharan covert bases in the Pacific. Space stations that had pretended to be satellites revealed their real nature when enormous carriers rose from underwater hangars. A fresh signal was detected by Sarah's tablet. "Once again, the probes are beaming." The message was lengthier this time. They wanted to see our complete might, so they started the defensive capabilities evaluation to be ready for the last phase. General Thompson went to the leaders gathered and said, "All right, let's put on a show. We've concealed everything and created everything. Now is the time to reveal it all." Dr. Tanaka's fingertips skimmed across a console, turning on energy-powered covert weapons platforms and the global defensive grid encircling the planet over large cities. Shields swam into being. The message was sent by quantum radar arrays that started scanning space. General Thompson gave the order. The alien probes shifted as if surprised that humanity had kept more secrets than they had anticipated and that they hadn't yet seen everything. The moon hung silently in space, its cratered surface peaceful against the backdrop of stars, but not for long. From Earth's hidden bases, hundreds of ships. Sarah nodded, typing quickly on every frequency in every language. "We see your blockade. We know your tests for decades. We've prepared every war, every crisis made us stronger. We united in secret built-in shadow, and now we stand ready." Rose into the command center's night sky. Sarach and observed each vessel symbolized a combination of suspense and amazement as the Corps coordinated the launch. Their extraterrestrial watchers and the general populace below have suddenly learned about decades of covert development. Every ship in position. Dr. Roberts leaned forward in his chair as General Thompson said that Operation Lighthouse had begun. Are we certain of this after we demonstrate to them that we are not powerless? The first demonstration started when General Liwei broke up the hiding time. A squadron of American ships, their holds shining with stealth technology, executed a series of maneuvers that appeared to defy physics, accelerating from 0 to light speed in seconds without any discernible propulsion, including quantum drives and inertial dampeners. Dr. Tanaka proudly recounted that the aliens believed they were seeing humanity battle chemical rockets for years until the Chinese fleet arrived, their ships dividing into smaller units before smoothly reuniting to reveal advanced nanotechnology probe indications for construction technology that was refined in covert subterranean sites are growing. According to Sarah, the Russian force moved into position after their enormous ships activated energy shields that could absorb the power of a tiny sun. They had tested these shields covertly on purported Northern Lights research flights, so they are clearly paying attention. General Thompson gave Dr. Roberts' demonstration of our precision a nod. An Indian warship launched a single beam of energy that passed through many tiny asteroids before dividing into hundreds of smaller beams and precisely striking each target. Dr. Tanaka claimed that when combined with AI prediction algorithms, quantum targeting systems ensure that no target can evade once locked. However, the actual proof was still to come. The second phase of Operation Lighthouse began when General Thompson entered a sequence of orders onto his console. General Liu smiled. Every mission has a dual purpose. Even our failed launches were often covers for military installations. The moon's surface abruptly rippled, and hidden doors disguised as craters slid open from within, revealing massive defense platforms built in secret over decades through what the public had assumed were routine satellite maintenance missions. We weren't just going to space for exploration. Sarah's equipment picked up fresh signs that the alien probes were moving and making excellent adjustments to their configuration. Now for the last one, remarked General Thompson. Dr. Tanaka, if you will, the Japanese scientist turned on the unique sequence that is concealed far beyond the moon. When quantum sensors were turned on, they showed a vast satellite network that stretched throughout the solar system as an early warning system. We've had eyes everywhere for years, Dr. Roberts stated, and when those inexplicable space radiation bursts, our sensors came online. General Thompson stood erect and delivered the word. Maximum power for all frequencies and all languages. Your cloaking technology cannot hide you. Your probes cannot surprise us. We have prepared for this moment for generations. Sarah started broadcasting to all observing species, saying, "You have watched us grow, tested us, judged us. Now watch this demonstration of our true capabilities." At his signal, every ship and platform activated their weapons, but they didn't fire. Instead, they simply aimed at every alien probe at empty sectors of space where cloaked observers might hide at strategic points throughout the solar system. "We track all of you." The alien probes started sending out fast signals, and their configuration changed rapidly. Sarah reported that they were shocked by the data and energy measurements, saying, "I think we actually caught them off guard. Humanity is no longer your experiment." To reinforce the point, General Thompson dictated the last portion of the message. "We are not your test subjects. We are your equals, maybe more than you imagined." With a single blast from a single platform, a tiny asteroid close to the moon was abruptly incinerated and destroyed by a weapon that no one knew Earth had. General Liwei explained that the alien probes froze in space at minimum power and that their broadcasts stopped for a long period of time. Then, a new signal that was stronger than any previous assessment parameter exceeded the direct contact that was authorized in the command center. Humans from every country shared knowing that this was what they had been waiting for, and they were finally ready to speak. General Thompson remarked, "On our terms." Sarah looked at the display showing Earth's revealed might. After all these years of hiding, playing weak, we're not playing anymore. Dr. Tanaka ended, and everyone knew it. Not Earth's might, but its judgment in employing it, was about to be put to the true test. Earth's command center was ready for the next phase of the defense of the planet. Massive spacecraft of many various kinds, each foreign and peculiar in its own way, emerged as the fleet abruptly rippled like water disturbed by unseen stones. At least 5 distinct energy signatures, no 7 or 8, are being detected by Sarah Chen's devices. Despite having white knuckles, General Thompson maintained his composure while holding locations in the command console. I am a top observer in the RA of the Galactic Council, and your display is beyond all expected results. No one shoots unless it is directed toward the biggest alien spacecraft, which is formed like a crystalline spiral. As it moves forward, a communication reaches Earth in all languages simultaneously. Greetings, warriors of Earth. A second alien ship, which looked almost organic, moved forward, but its transmission had a completely different tone. We told you that they were developing too quickly, and their deception skills alone proved they were too dangerous. Dr. Roberts studied the readings, which showed that the ship alone had enough power to light up a small sun, but General Lyo pointed out that they were keeping their weapons powered down. Quiet. A third spacecraft responded, sleek and metallic. Your species opted for more observation, so you can't be upset with the outcome at this point. Sarah glanced at her superiors. Were they debating us like scientists over a scientific experiment? Dr. Tanaka's voice became abrasive and out of control. High Observer Zenra's voice broke through the commotion of Earthlings. You have participated in the longest review period in the history of the Galactic Council. Some species desired to limit your growth, while others wanted to keep you safe. Everyone agreed that you needed to be tested. Your planet is located at a critical intersection of space lanes, and your solar system has resources that are vital to many species. We wanted to know whether you could guard them. General Thompson stepped up to test what survival came up with. The irate voice of Kvar interrupted once again. They were meant to grow gradually, and their wars should have kept them apart, but instead they used every fight as an opportunity to improve their technology, according to another voice from space. This one delighted them in some way, and their paranoia strengthened them. Every danger drove them on, and even her tragedies just strengthened their fortitude. As the aliens revealed their records from years of observation, testing, and interventions, Sarah's screens grew larger with fresh information. Natural catastrophes, political conflicts, and the Cold War were all closely watched. Some of them subtly impacted and tested our reactions. General Lyo said that comprehension dawning, but we were specifically putting ourselves to the test. While we waited for particular events, High Observer Zenra verified that you prepared for everything. Where we anticipated discord, you found unity and concealment. Where we searched for weakness, you found strength. Each of you symbolizes a separate society with a variety of interests that some people want to conquer, according to Dr. Tanaka's study of the alien spacecraft. You gave an honest response, and others saw possible friends. Some advised removing the harm you could pose, but everyone decided to watch first, now, and now. You have shown capability beyond our expectations, your technological advancement concealed so carefully, your unified response plan for decades, and your strategic thinking. General Thompson asked the pivotal question as the alien ships moved in a circle around Earth's fleet, not threatening but respectful, like equals meeting for the first time. Sarah looked away from her readings. Dr. Roberts whispered, "You had your secrets, we had ours," Zenra explained, "but now the game of shadows is over. Your world has proven it's ready for the greater galaxy." As thousands of ships of all sizes and designs faded into view after washing Earth for centuries, the humans watched in amazement as the true scope of the alien presence became apparent. In anticipation of the answer trade diplomacy, General Thompson stood erect. You have shown that you are capable of handling either alliance or war, if needed. Perhaps General Lyo answered coolly, but as you've seen, we're too hazardous for Adit in the command center. The irate Krar spoke once more, and some of us still believe you're too dangerous to trust. Sarah silently questioned, what happens now, as she saw the enormous show of alien spacecraft encircling their globe. Earth's fleet seemed little in contrast, but it firmly maintained its place. The galactic scene was set, and the High Observer Zenra reaction conveyed both caution and respect. Now, Earthlings enter the galaxy as equals, not as subjects or specimens, and it is up to us all whether that results in peace or warfare. The Galactic Council's meeting chamber was not at all what Earth's diplomats had anticipated. Rather than a grand hall, They stood in what seemed to be a sphere of pure energy, with representatives from dozens of alien species floating on platforms around them. Humanity had passed their test, but the real challenges were just getting started. Now acting as Earth's technological advisor, Sarah Chin kept her tablet continuously scanning. Dr. Roberts and General Thompson stood. Alongside her, Earth's first diplomatic team was completed by General Liwei and Dr. Tanaka. We welcome Earth's delegates to the first formal council meeting. You may now submit your arguments and concerns. High Observer's Indra's crystalline body sparkled gently as they talked. The irate species from before the Krar, their biological spacecraft throbbing with faint light, interrupted. General Thompson came forward before we started. We have questions that need answers, and you are here to accept terms, not to make demands. A murmur swept through the crowd as General Thompson spoke in a cool but strong tone. We're here as equals or we're not here at all. Representatives' energy readings on Sarah's tablet increased as other creatures responded to the human's audacity. Proceed with your inquiries, Zenra permitted. Dr. Roberts turned on a holographic display that depicted the history of Earth. The African Civil Wars, the Middle East Wars, and the Vietnam War. How many of these did you have an impact on? A new alien species that seemed almost like living smoke spoke out, breaking the calm in the room. Dr. Tanaka's voice was harsh, and we had to test your warfare skills by forcing us to murder each other. The tsunamis, earthquakes, and other natural disasters were your tests, and some Zenrai acknowledged that we needed to assess your crisis response and your capacity to recover and adjust to Sarah's tablet beeping, the computer viruses, and the cyber attacks. Under pressure, the smoke-like alien corrected your species and turned conflict into progress unlike any we've seen. This time, a mechanical-look species responded to the technical losses by putting your digital defenses and information system security to the test. The chamber erupted in alien voices, some angry, some defensive. General Thompson stated clearly that every challenge you created killed innocent humans. Do you understand what that means? Kvar insisted that your species needed to be thoroughly evaluated before General Thompson interrupted. Before you decided if we deserve to live to keep our own planet. We wanted to know whether you could be trusted with such an important position since Zenra raised an appendage for quiet. You must realize that your solar system is located at a critical junction of space lanes, and your planet has significant resources. You manipulated us, tested us, murdered us, and now you talk about trust? Dr. Tanaka chuckled cruelly. New readings appeared on Sarah's tablet, and she glanced up quickly as they scanned our defense. We knew you would try to scam the U.S. during negotiations, so we kept our full capabilities hidden again. Fleet right now. General Liwei grinned icily, still testing us even here. Then, to be clear, he pressed a button on his uniform, activating Earth's hidden defense platforms throughout the solar system. New ships appeared from secret locations, and weapon systems came online. Uncomfortably, the alien representatives moved. Sarah's readings demonstrated their astonishment. You see, Dr. Roberts went on while we were learning from you. Every test you sent us strengthened us, and now General Thompson's voice reverberated throughout the chamber, outlining Earth's demands for full recognition as an independent species and equal trading rights. Restitution for previous manipulations and non-interference in Earth's domestic affairs. You dare demand that we dare. General Liwei cut in. Because we earned it through blood and sacrifice that you forced, said Qatar in a furious manner. After thoroughly examining people, Zenra deems Earth to be a closed system if we reject it. No diplomacy, no trade, Dr. Tanaka said. Relationships and our protection. The smoke-like alien asked. Fleet will enforce our isolation. You would cut yourself off from the galaxy. Sarah replied, thanks to your tests we can survive alone for indefinitely. The chamber fell silent as the aliens considered this. Finally, Zenra spoke. Perhaps this is why some people feared you and why others championed you. We don't want fear or championing. We want respect as equals, nothing more, nothing less, General Thompson said resolutely. As the species started their discussions, the council hall was alive with activity. While teams of alien scientists frantically examined every piece of information they had on humans, Earth's representatives remained steadfast in their belief that this time they were the ones being tested, not the other way around. The Galactic Council's deliberations had lasted 3 Earth days. As yet another extraterrestrial species presented their results, Saracen watched from her monitoring post in the council room. It is illogical. Looking at these advancement spikes, the insect-like researcher cheered that their technical growth doesn't follow any recognized development pattern. The holographic display, which should have shown a continuous curve representing humanity's development over ages, instead displayed abrupt bends and dramatic leaps whenever we presented a challenge. Dr. Roberts clarified that rather than just overcoming it, we used it to our advantage. The illustration of the smoke-like extraterrestrial creeping closer when General Thompson started the nuclear arms race, you thought it would end in our demise, but instead we utilized the research to create clean fusion power weapons that could be used as energy sources. We developed quantum encryption as a result of the computer viruses you supplied, Dr. Tanaka remarked, and your assault strengthened our defenses. Qatar had been unusually silent, but the psychological anguish caused him to abruptly explode. The conflicts and catastrophes, these ought to have crushed your soul. We grinned at generally, but the united instead. Us in private but fully, Sarah said, pulling up classified files when we detected your probes. We didn't just build defenses against what we saw, we imagined every possible threat and built counters for all of them. Sarah's tablet beeped with new data, and we looked at these readings. She called out every nation, developed different technology, and developed different strategies, but apart, we were impressive together. You're formidable, High Observer Zenra finished. We've never seen a species turn setbacks into advantages so consistently. The mechanical species added their analysis, and their paranoia served as an evolutionary advantage. If Earth became inhospitable, you were ready for full extinction. The aliens silently observed as humanity's genuine preparations were revealed, including subterranean cities that could house whole populations and seed vaults housing Earth's entire ecosystem and technology that could terraform Mars in weeks. The alien smoke-like appearance and colonization. General Thompson nodded, launched attack using time travel, dimensional invasion, and biological warfare. There is no way to travel in time. We now know that, KTV sneered. Even though Dr. Robert grinned, we created safeguards in case a new, darker, crystalline extraterrestrial race appeared. For this reason, some of us argue for your eradication. The room became silent as the general spoke. Your species doesn't just adapt, you over-adapt and prepare for threats that don't exist yet. Zenra, High Observer, now that we know that your unpredictable nature isn't a weakness but rather your greatest strength, you're ready for anything since you can envision threats that we wouldn't. Crystal form buzzed with energy. The aliens seemed unsurprised as Sarah's tablet suddenly lit up with notifications about many ships reaching the solar system, at least 3 fleets, claiming that the militant groups had arrived. Those who voted for Earth's annihilation did not panic, and Earth's representatives exchanged knowing glances. General Thompson activated Procedure Omega-2 by pressing a button on his uniform. As we stated, Dr. Tanaka calmly explained that we prepare for everything, including betrayal, during peace talks. The incoming hostile fleets suddenly stopped, and Sarah's readings revealed their confusion as they detected Earth's previously hidden defenses. Your species, the smoke-like alien observed, is terrifying. New defense platforms appeared throughout the solar system, not dozens but thousands, each more advanced than the last. Dr. Roberts made a correction. Who determines what is a threat? We are builders, survivors, and defenders who only become fearsome when threatened by the crystalline alien's dark, shimmering appearance. We've earned that right after centuries of your tests, General Liu said plainly. The human element cannot be disregarded, High Observer Zenra said as he turned to address the entire council. They have outperformed all the metrics we use to gauge civilization's progress. Not through gradual advancement, but through creative leaps we never thought were possible, so Kvar now demanded that we just accept them as equals. You don't have to accept us as equals, we already know that we are. The issue is whether you want us as allies or something else. Sarah glanced up from her iPad and spoke firmly. The council room was alive with activity as the aliens faced their first real diplomatic crisis in decades. They had intended to see how prepared humanity was for the galaxy, but a month after the Galactic Council talks, humanity had tested its preparedness for humans. On the moon's surface, the first joint human-alien research facility was being built, while alien commerce ships cautiously navigated designated lanes while being observed by Earth's defensive systems. Standing in her new position in the Global Defense Command Center, Scifi kept an eye on solar system traffic. General Thompson and the others gathered around the main monitor, which showed the finished trade agreements with the image of High Observer Zenra hovering over it. Earth is now formally acknowledged as a sovereign system with full membership in the Galactic Council, according to the crystalline extraterrestrial, and the recompense being processed, General Liwei asked forcefully. Dr. Roberts examined the incoming data, and those who opted not to share with him had completely left Earth space. Advanced medical technology from 12 species, clean energy systems from 8 others, and military technology from those who chose to share Zenra. Their concern that you may reverse engineer their spacecraft just by glancing at them made the crystal form pulse with what seemed to be amusement. Dr. Tanak grinned since we had previously. General Thompson said they're testing our repair skills, so let them fix the third one this week, according to Sarah's monitors beeping another Krar ship demanding emergency landing engine difficulties. Every interaction teaches us something new, according to General Liu. The primary screen splits to display numerous feeds. While experts from a dozen planets collaborated on construction projects on Mars with human spacecraft accompanying alien spaceships, Earth's defenses remained in the background. Vigilant trust, but confirmed the old Cold War doctrine serves us well in space, Dr. Roberts said, as the High Observer Zenra picture flickered. Some council members continue to dispute our choice to give Earth this level of autonomy, claiming that you are too erratic. General Thompson said, "Unpredictable will keep us free, unpredictable will keep us alive, unpredictable will make us strong." Sarah's displays glowed with fresh information. The room tightened, but there was no panic when the deep space sensors picked up several signs near the system's boundary. Earth has experienced too much to worry about, and now, according to Zenra, the Drachnid Empire doesn't trust our claims about Earth's capabilities and would rather see for themselves. The new alien massive ships that dwarfed even the Council warships appear out of hyperspace, and their design shouted intimidation with all of their weapon ports and sharp angles. General Thompson simply nodded in accordance with protocol, and Epsilon showed them the entire solar system. Not only did they activate the weapons they had previously disclosed, but ships appeared from dimensional pockets, platforms emerged from within stars, and networks of quantum-linked defense satellites synchronized. Sarah's readings became very high. Dr. Tanaka said in a low voice that the Drachnid fleet is shutting down its weaponry and fleeing, since they had anticipated finding a primitive the world is barely able to handle extraterrestrial technology. Instead, they discovered humanity. The General Liwei was completed. Humanity is prepared and waiting. Zindra, High Observer, you can now see why the Council decided to accept your demands as the crystal form pulsed with various hues. Your species doesn't simply utilize technology, it also thinks of new applications for it and doesn't just get ready for dangers. You get ready for impossibly dangerous situations. Nothing is insurmountable. Dr. Roberts made corrections, and we discovered that every exam you provided forced us to think more deeply, dream greater, and work more. The display showed Earth's combined fleet of human ships from all nations flying together, alien traders moving through safe zones, and the Drachnid fleet disappearing into hyperspace. They're spreading the word that Earth isn't just another world joining the galaxy, and General Thompson agreed. The message is sent by joint defense platforms scouring deep space in a planet that has transformed millennia of trials into strength. General Thompson gave the last warning to everyone. Remember what your tests taught us. We're stronger than you thought, more prepared than you thought we could be, and we're always watching, just like you taught us to be. Sarah started broadcasting on all frequencies in all languages throughout the entire galaxy to all species watching Earth. Your tests are over. We've overcome every obstacle and survived every trial, and now we stand as equals ready to trade, share, and grow. Dr. Tanaka added in orbit in silence. As a new day dawned on Earth, the fleet stood watch. Humanity had earned its position. The galaxy would never be the same once the stars were tried, prepared, and triumphant, not by conquest or capitulation, but by tenacity, ingenuity, and an unending ability to transform obstacles into victories.